issues. This issue that I got is Wolverine #1. It is written by Chris Claremont and penciled by Frank Miller. So I'm going to do the Sound story. It's going to be S for story, A for art, L for lettering, A for action, and D for drama. So the story goes, we have Wolverine. He's just climbing up a mountain and he fights a bear. And then he goes to his long lost lover's place in Japan, and she's getting married to a man. She's getting married because it's obligation. It's like political stuff, like throne and all that fun stuff. Her name is it's a very beautiful name, Mariko Yashida, and beautiful. She looks beautiful. I'll talk more about the art a little bit later. So he goes to fight this man for the love of her, but it ends in a very tragic way where he gets poisoned, his reflexes are slowed, he ends up getting really injured in the fight, but Wolverine has those healing abilities, so he's able to heal, but it still hurts. But then he ultimately accepts his defeat, accepts his loss when he gets face planted with a foot on his face, and he gets stomped out, and then he wakes up in the middle of Japan, and he's like, where am I? And then he's like, well, I guess my long lost love is gone. And then he just kills just a bunch of people trying to hurt him. He straight up just kills them. He's like, well, I guess it's time for me to move on. And then there's another chick there is trying to seduce Wolverine, and that's how this issue ends. And so it's a pretty fun roller coaster of a ride this story is. I'm just, from one moment I'm like, oh cool, you're fighting a bear, to oh, so sad, you have your long lost love is married to another man, that's so sad, and then you can't even have her, and then you're murdering people, and now you have another chick trying to seduce you. Oh, it's so sad. So there is the story. Then we have the art. I really like the art style of this. I especially love the opening cover. Just immediately, we got Wolverine. He's snarling. Immediately indicates what type of guy he is. And just, it's so beautiful. The coloring, the penciling. There's just a lot of action in this. And I especially like how this panel was done, where he pulls out his adamantium claws, and the way that there's the motion line here, it just highlights his motion through the bear's arm. And I really like how that was done. It was very clever. And also the paneling, I'm like, whoa, look at that. I really like this paneling style, and it's very different between each page. It's just, it's not at all just the same boxes and the same layout all the time, which I really appreciate. And there's necessary detail when needed. We have an establishing shot of this penthouse that they're at with a whole glass around them, and there's the city. And it's okay, cool. But then whenever we've already established the setting, we can just color it out with a simple yellow. And also, I really like when we see that Wolverine is angry, he turns red. He's red, and he's his fist is clenched. He's so angry that Mariko is tooketh, and now he's like, okay, cool, I gotta go get her. Here's the suit. It's the Wolverine suit. Oh my goodness, but this Wolverine suit is red because he's angry, which is fun. It stays red. I don't know at what point they changed it to navy blue. I personally like the red suit more. But in this first issue, he has instead of where the navy blue is on modern modern Wolverine, he literally has red, which is fun. I'm a really big fan of the red. I feel like it encapsulates his rage very well. And also, I like the silhouette style of the paneling. It's just so dynamic. The art changes so much. I really love it. Also, it's kind of tragic that Mariko is being beaten, and I'm like, this is so sad. But I really like how that bruise is drawn. It's very convinced that she's being beaten. So all of this overall, I just love it. There's so much detail, like especially within these eyes. Oh, beautiful. So much like rage, and also he's hurt, but then he comes back, but he's like slowed down. And also, I'll talk about this more in the action. There's a dynamic sword fight, which is pretty cool. And then the ending is pretty sweet. I like the colors of the ending. It's like, oh man, this is kind of dreary, especially with all the blue. All the blue is like sadness. He's just super duper sad. You know what actually I noticed? So at the very beginning of the comic, there's blue, right? But we're dealing with the snow. But there's not as many blue tones in this, just generally atmospherically, as the very end of the comic. So it goes to show that the colors used mean he's like in a different, more depressed state, and then he's got with another woman. Oh no, another woman's got him. And so that's the art. The lettering, I'd say the lettering is very easy to read. Did I notice any automatopoeia? I mean, there aren't a ton of automatopoeia, except for when he takes his claws out and he just snick, and then he just chop. And I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, nice. I thought it was, and chuck again. Ooh, he's really killing that bear. Got him. And then also, when there's a bar fight, there is no automatopoeia, which I noticed, which is, it's all right. It's all fun. There's not a whole ton of automatopoeia through this, but the lettering, I really like the lettering. So here's something that I noticed. So there's a few types of lettering during this. There's like little blurbs outside of the panels. That's just Wolverine narrating. And then to continue the narration, if we're inside of a panel, then it's like a yellow rectangle box. But then whenever it's dialogue, it's just like regular box. But whenever they're speaking a different language, they put those chevron signs next to the white white bubbles. So it's beautiful. I really like the distinction. There's a lot of distinction. And overall, I just really like the lettering. It's easy to read. And I like the amount of lettering there. It gives me a whole detailed look at this world. So the action. Oh boy. I'd say the most actiony parts are where he's fighting the bear. I mentioned a little bit, but he does slice this bear's like arm off, and then he straight up kills the bear. And I thought, that's pretty cool. And then it like goes to another action sequence where he's in a bar fight, and then there's not really a ton of action here. It's more dramatic, which I'll cover a little bit later. But then he literally scales this wall, and he's trying to fight. He's trying to fight her husband. And then they get into a bit of sword fight. They have a little bit of a sword fight fun time. I really like the dynamic poses of the sword fight. It really feels that with each drawing, it's like a different part of the sword fight. And I feel like maybe he'll win, maybe he won't, because he's up against a master of sorting. And he's not the most sword comfortable guy, and he's being poisoned right now, and so he's slow and he's inexperienced. But then once he brings out his bone claws, then it kind of evens the tide, except for when the master stomps on his face, and then that ends the action up until there's like a bunch of guys coming towards him, and they want to cause him trouble. It's implied violence because the panel before this, there's a lot of ads in this copy. This is actually, I bought this for like $50. This is a very first issue. You could probably tell by the pages, they're a little bit yellowed. So from here, there's like a little bit of implied violence. You got some guys with their fists off, and then they drop the weapons. And then, wow, they're here. They're keeled over. got some implied violence, and I really like that. I'm satisfied with how much violence there is in this book because it's Wolverine. I love it. And then the drama, I'd say the drama part is Wolverine trying to get to Mariko, and then Mariko ultimately denying him, and then he's sad. And I'm like, this hurts me. This hurts me. My boy Wolverine can't be with his love Mariko. Because of duties and responsibilities. Oh man. I love the drama in this book. There's so much drama. And this book overall is really good. If I would give it some letters, some numbers to the letters, I'd say the story, it's like a 4. It kind of jumps back and forth from like from the bar into him going to Japan. I personally wish there was a little bit more transition between that, but it wasn't too jarring, so I'd give it like a 4. The art, I love the art. It's a 5. I love the art style. It's just so beautiful to look at. The lettering, I wish there was more onomatopoeia, but overall, I really enjoyed the lettering style. So I give it a 4. Then the action is a solid 5 because holy diggity dang, Wolverine just keeps on killing people and he needs to. And then the drama is a 4. I mean, there's drama with the chick that he used to be with, but I wish there was more drama personally. So I give that a 4. So what is it? The story is a 4, the art is a 5, the lettering's a 4, the action's a 5, and the drama is a 4. What does that make it? That's 4. It's 3 4s and 2 5s. Oh boy, math is hard. Oh boy, what is that? 10 plus 12, 22 out of 25. And that's my got issues. I got issues with Wolverine number 1. Oh yeah, those are good.